mind and one for the intelligent as fellas get. Listen, let's settle this, be clear. I could fall back 7 years, still it ain't no one ahead of me. Consider it a blessing if you get to stand next to me. 5-star general, OG veteran, cake like.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. I got an email this morning asking me what I think about these online YouTuber online training, and I was like, that's kind of funny to ask me that question because I do the same thing. But it actually specifically asked me about the Kinobody thing, and it was actually an ad that popped up, like Mike Chang's 6-pack shortcuts or whatever used to have those ads. I guess you pay for YouTube for them and they run like an ad. It was like a commercial for Kinobody. So apparently Kinobody is the new Mike Chang, and this is what people are asking about. They're being exposed to him more now because of the fact that he's got the ads that are running. So I watched the ad and I was kind of interested. I said, okay, well, what is this guy talking about? Now, Kinobody looks good, right? I believe he's drug-free. Seems to be a smart kid. Seems to have a lot of drive. Seems to really just trying to be moving forward with his brand in general. Now, that being said, the intermittent fasting, which is the basis of Kinobody, and I want to put this out there that I'm not knocking his program, not saying it doesn't work. I just want to give you a little food for thought. There, are these commercials when you put them out that are just kind of a general, kind of laid out plan saying, all you have to do is this, all you have to do is that, well, okay, if it was that simple, then everybody would be in shape. Now, making a blanket statement saying that this template will work for everybody is just not true. Let's face facts. Saying that intermittent fasting is going to work for everybody is not true. Saying that carb cycling is going to work for everybody is not true. Saying that high-fat diet is going to work for everybody, like keto, high-fat, high-carbohydrate, whatever the case, high-volume, low-volume training is going to work for everybody, and that you have a program based on that is just not a fact. It's not true. I thought about it, I was like, wow, you could put these ads out and really get your thing out there, but what am I going to put out there? My training is not based on any template. It's based on the individual, and each person's program is different. I can't promise the person watching this right now, I have the blueprint, just follow this and it'll fucking get you there. And then send out the same, type of intermittent fasting or whatever the case may be to everybody. I got some people that use intermittent fasting. I got some people that carb cycle. I got some people that do keto. Some people do 2 cardio sessions a day. Some people do none. Some people do 1. It's so varied from individual to individual to actually get your results that I think these commercials about these programs, these very commercials, are just misleading and not true. Now, what I want to point out there is the Kinobody likes to use intermittent fasting. The Kinobody, whatever his name, I think the kid's name is Kinobody. I think that's what his channel is. Intermittent fasting is what he does and what he talks about. Now, I just want to point this out, and this is a fact. Intermittent fasting can cause, in some people, binge eating disorders. Now, let me say, let me just rule this out so people, intermittent fasting is a tool just like anything else. It'll work well for some people. I use a kind of version of it. Like, I don't eat till 12:30 in the afternoon. That's when my first meal is usually, unless I'm starving when I get up in the morning, 12:30 in the afternoon. So basically between 12:30 and I'd say like 10 o'clock at night, that's when I eat all my food. I set my body on a cycle so that it specifically has the same exact cycle every day and makes my body predictable. I know how much weight I'm going to lose overnight. I know how much weight I'm going to put on during the day. I know what my macros are. I can control my body, and that's what it's about. Controlling it, being predictable. Now, the intermittent fasting that some of the other people do, they wait till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and have like a 4 or 5 hour eating window. They say it's very hard to overeat during that, which may be true for some people. Now, the Kinobody program is geared towards based on what he does for himself and what he found worked for himself. And it's going to work in a general for, I'd say, I'll give him a high ballpark number, like maybe 65 to 70% of the people that try it will get the results that he did. That being said, it's going to have to be adjusted to the individual macro-wise, et cetera, just to get those things. You can't just follow a template that runs for everybody. It's not going to work like that. The rest of those people are going to have a hard time with holding out until the eating window takes place. And once they start eating, the switch is flipped on and they will continue to eat non-stop above their caloric intake for that eating window and not be able to stop. And a lot of times they'll feel so guilty about it the next day that they'll either starve themselves and do extra cardio, which again is going to cause a metabolic adaptation or metabolic damage, or they just say, fuck it, I fucked up Monday, I'll start over, or I fucked up Wednesday, I'll start over the next Monday, let me get this out of my system, and they continue to binge for the rest of the week. And they didn't even know they had the tendency to binge. This is part of the problem that we see with people that don't know they have the tendency to binge. When you know, I was asked the other day at in the gym, Jerry, how do you control your eating? And I'm like, I don't really get a euphoric feeling from food. I've never really used food as a drug. I've never used it for comfort. I used drugs, you know, so it doesn't have the same effect. But it was like, that's like me asking someone, how do you do a little bit of Vicodin? How do you control it? They don't have the same effect on that person as the Vicodins have on me. So it's not, you know, it's not about what I do. It's about the individual. And that's the thing about these commercial programs. If they're not individualized to the person, the person's not actually sitting down, going through things, saying, okay, you're doing this, this is not working, let's change it to this. If they're like intermittent fasting, here's your calories, go. You know, it could cause some issues with people that you don't see coming. I actually had an individual that I'm working with now, had some medical complications. You know, these are unforeseen things. They can't do a certain bench press, you know, so now we have to tweak it. Okay, let's try dumbbells. Let's try this machine. Let's try cables. You have to tweak it. You can't do a general, you know, blanket thing. I mean, if you give them, everybody has to start somewhere. So you have to give them a template to start based on what they were doing and where they would need to be. As it goes along, if they're having problems, it needs to be fixed. There is no blanket statement blueprint that Kinobody or Mike Chang or any of these guys can give you that will work for you like it did for them. So be aware, guys, you know, there's definitely, you know, some good programs out there, and I'm not saying the Kinobody program is not going to work. I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there that it worked for, but it's not going to work for everybody. And if you're not one of those people, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Doesn't mean you're broken, doesn't mean you're damaged, doesn't mean you're fucked up, doesn't mean you're not as good as Kinobody, doesn't mean you're not following it to a T. What it means is it's not right for you. And if you're having the, you know, if you're trying the intermittent fasting and you're having binges, that's something to look at. You might want to try spreading your meals out evenly throughout the day to control blood sugar. And even, you know, flexible dieting itself, what I do now, some people may not even be able to have like one donut. They'll have to eat fucking 10 donuts. Once they have that one, they'll have to eat. That person would probably be better off on having some kind of bro diet that doesn't include those things, that doesn't send that message to the brain to binge. And over time, that message will change. Okay, so what's going to happen is, this is a whole other video, I'll have to get in later. It's a little more complex than that. So be aware, guys. You know, some of these guys that have the commercial push behind them, why do you think there's a commercial push? If you really have something that helps people and works really well, word gets around really fast. You don't have to have a gimmick commercial to push your products. They'll sell themselves. Biowesterntraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biowesterntraining.com is a blog. It's the intermittent fasting is good, but not for everybody. Bicep, and we're out.